Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am. Am I my brother's keeper? Yes, I am.
Nino Brown Boxing. I'm back in the building. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. So, just left the gym. Tired as hell. Before I went to the gym, I saw Black Fight Fans TV whole video about that fitness challenge, 225. Today I did 225 for 9.5 reps today. I weigh 175 pounds, so I think that's pretty good for my weight, but I can always improve. Before I get into this boxing talk, I left a comment on Black Fight Fan TV's video about it saying, we should make a challenge of benching our body weight. I feel like, the heavier you are, the easier it should be to bench, a certain weight. So if you're under 225 versus the person over 225, just kind of even the playing fields. But, all right, on to the next topic. I wanted to talk about the whole Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua talk and how I can't even say things are necessarily heating up. I feel like it's just, in a continuous cycle of the same talks that we've been having for the last 8-9 months, maybe even more than that. It's definitely been reported that Deontay Wilder decided not to go over to the UK, even though he was hired by Sky Sports. Anthony Joshua was obviously blocking. Then he tried to come back, play a little bit of semantics, and say, oh, well, I didn't necessarily say he's not allowed in the ring. If he goes in the ring, I'll invite him in the ring. All of that bullshit. Won't have time for that. Me personally, I feel like Deontay Wilder shouldn't go into the ring. I mean, he shouldn't go over to the UK, even though that's already been said and done. I said because it's just a bunch of bullshit. Shout out to Fanon International Boxing. He made a great video earlier about the whole WBC and their rules and their breakdowns when it comes to all of the Dillian White talk for Deontay Wilder. If you haven't seen his video, go check it out. But pretty much a quick summary is the WBC's rules and regulations are, even if you're the number one ranked fighter for a particular weight class, that doesn't guarantee that you're the mandatory. Deontay Wilder just fought a mandatory in Bermain Severn, and then he had a voluntary defense in Luis Ortiz. And according to the WBC president, they would allow Deontay Wilder to have another voluntary. Now, it could be Deontay Wilder's choice. He can make his next voluntary against Dillian White or whoever else he wants it to be. And I know the mandatories happen once a year, but it doesn't even necessarily happen. It doesn't have to happen once a year. He can always get an exemption from the WBC, and it can definitely prolong his next mandatory fight. So all of this talk when it comes to Dillian White, is complete bullshit. I mean, I don't understand why people are pretending like they're unaware. We obviously see how the WBC is moving when it comes to Keith Thurman with Sean Porter and Danny Garcia. So it is what it is when it comes to that. But my whole take on the matter is I just want to see the fight. Deontay Wilder, I predict he'll stop Anthony Joshua. But win, lose, draw, rematch, as long as it's not a robbery, as long as the best man on that particular night wins the fight, that's all that matters to me. I'm still riding with Deontay Wilder no matter what. So, yeah, that's who I'm riding with. But all this extra, all of this diva behavior from Anthony Joshua is really pissing me off. And I remember, probably last year, I saw, it was definitely after Anthony Joshua knocked out Vladimir Klitschko. And it was a picture. I've seen side-by-side pictures on social media of when he was standing over Klitschko. People had a side-by-side picture of when Muhammad Ali was standing over, I believe it was Sonny Liston. I could be wrong. If I'm wrong, correct me. But, we all know that historic picture of Muhammad Ali when he's standing over one of his opponents. And it got me thinking that, I'm sure past champions like Muhammad Ali, Joe Frazier, are pretty much turning in their grave right now to see this young guy, this Olympic gold medalist, the way that he's conducting himself as a heavyweight champion. To me, I find it to be absolutely ridiculous, and it's just, man, I don't know, man. I can't even I can't even put into words like how disgusting it is. Like, we already know that the heavyweight division is not deep. It's not like Anthony Joshua has multiple options out there. If the heavyweight division was filled up of, let's say, 5 more Luis Ortizes, then he wasn't necessarily trying to take the Deontay Wilder fight at this point in time, but he was trying to fight, Luis Ortiz A, B, C, or D. That's definitely a tough fight. It would be a lot more respectable, but that's not the case. It's not the case like it's a welterweight division where you have the opportunity to pull someone up from a lower weight class. Yes, you can pull up a cruiserweight, but we already know that's not really going to be a competitive fight for Joshua. You can't move up in a weight class, so it's not like he's going to say, well, I'm done with this particular division. I want to move on to a heavier weight class and challenge myself. We don't have those options in a heavyweight division. And right now, the top guy, the only guy left after the Joseph Parker fight is Deontay Wilder. Anthony Joshua can try to finesse. They can try to hype up a fight with Gerald Big Baby Miller. They can try to hype up Alexander Povetkin. They can try to hype up a Dillian White rematch. Whatever direction they choose to go. At the end of the day, it will not equal the level of competition. It will not satisfy the true boxing fans, not even the Deontay Wilder fans, not the AJ fans, just true boxing fans, completely fans of the sport. It will not satisfy us fighting any other opponent than it would satisfy us that you fighting Deontay Wilder. I understand Eddie Hearn is a promoter, but at some point, Anthony Joshua has to conduct himself like a fighter. He has to conduct himself like a champion and say, pretty much, man, my thing is be honest, be an honest man, or be a fighter. Pick one side. Like all this finessing, all of these used car salesman tactics that you're trying to do, and just trying to avoid the truth and speaking on what it is. It's either you're afraid of him, or you'll beat his ass, or you see him as tough competition, and you want to prove yourself in the ring and see what happens. Just be honest with the fans. Like all of this other shit is for the birds, and we get to a point where it's getting exhausting. Like they're talking about they want to build up the fight, but in one breath, AJ, he's not talking like he wants to build up the fight. Now, if it's about money, it's about promotion. If you want to save as much money as possible and get free promotion, then you will let Wilder in the ring, no problem. If it's about the money and it's about building a fight, all that other shit is irrelevant. Let him in the ring. Let him challenge you face to face. Have no problem with it. See this man in the center of the ring after you collect that WBO belt if you win, and go from there. You trying to put Dillian White as an obstacle, but your promoter and Eddie Hearn is saying that Dillian White isn't the end-all be-all. Well, if that's the case, what is the end-all be-all? What can Deontay Wilder do to guarantee that he fights Anthony Joshua next? Eddie Hearn, if you're going to play this game, and let's just say we decide to play the game with you for a couple of seconds, answer this question. What can Deontay Wilder do? What is acceptable? He already beat Luis Ortiz. He had an opportunity to fight Alexander Povetkin, but he popped dirty, so that fight didn't go through. He went over to Russia. We know he was going to do that. Bam. He had to fight his mandatory in Bermane Stiverne. That was one of the factors. Well, it appeared to be Bermane Stiverne that was attempting to block this unification, but based off how Anthony Joshua and his team are conducting themselves now, I'm pretty sure they were all for that whole mandatory situation for Bermane Stiverne. He stopped him in the first round. Then he beat Luis Ortiz. Like, what's next? What's next? Like, all of these obstacles is just a waste of time, and it's obviously to prolong the inevitable. And to me, that is Deontay Wilder becoming the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world. But, we've seen the heavyweights division. And it's only been one heavyweight champion in the history of boxing that go undefeated his whole entire career, fighting championship caliber opponents. Like, cool, we get it. Heavyweights lose. They rematch. They don't have anywhere to run and hide. You weigh 220, 230 pounds plus. After a training camp, you're not cutting down to 200. It's no other weight classes to move up to. It's no super heavyweight division yet, and hopefully it'll never be. Just fight, man. It's just give the fans what they want. If you lose, you lose. Get a rematch. It's really that simple. I just don't understand why they can't give the fans what they want. They keep on saying they're trying to build a fight, but obviously that's not what we're getting. Now, when it comes to the fight this weekend, I honestly hope it's like, if Anthony Joshua dominates Joseph Parker, then he's going to be on his high horse, making it, trying to make it seem like he's more of an A-side, and Deontay Wilder is definitely not worthy. But if he struggles, and let's say he gets knocked down, and let's say he doesn't KO Joseph Parker and he wins by split decision, he's definitely going to duck Deontay Wilder. He's going to, they're going to come out with more excuses, and we thought they were trying to prolong it now. They're going to try to prolong it even more because Anthony Joshua's confidence is going to probably be at an all-time low, and it's just going to stall the fight even more. I've been hearing talks of Alexander Povetkin possibly becoming a mandatory. It's just, man, it's all these, and Big Baby Miller. Like, come on, man. Like, who are these guys really getting in the ring with? They're not fighting the elite. It's not really to me, the elite heavyweights. It's only 3, and the third one just got knocked off. Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, and Luis Ortiz. Anyone else, when it comes off the level of competition at heavyweight, they don't fall into the elite status. It's only 2 guys left at the top. They need to square off, and then go on, do what else they're going to do until some of these young guys come up and, trying to get their shine. And the same type of pressure that we're applying on AJ, those are the same expectations I have after Deontay Wilder become undisputed. Yes, I'm definitely speaking it into existence, as I believe it's going to happen. If you have a young guy coming up and he's trying to challenge Deontay Wilder, he's doing what he's supposed to do, and Deontay Wilder is trying to play the same game that Anthony Joshua and team is playing right now, I'm going to hold Deontay Wilder's feet to the fire. But the way Deontay Wilder conducts himself as a fighter, the way he conducts himself as a man, I don't see that happening. I see him willing to face any opponent or any obstacle that's put in front of him. That's just how I feel about that. But, man, we're going to see what happens. My prediction for this upcoming fight this weekend, I'm going to predict the knockout, not a TKO. I don't want any bullshit stoppages. They need to let this fight happen. If the fight ends, it's going to end in a knockout. If Anthony Joshua is going to win, don't let him win by TKO unless it's an obvious TKO where Joseph Parker is not defending himself and he's on the verge of, like, serious injury to the point where it can affect his life. If that's not the case, don't stop the fight. But until next time, guys, it's Nino Brown Boxing. Shout out to the LDBC. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe. Peace.